The tension was thick in the Good Morning America studio long before the cameras began rolling. Producers whispered frantically in their headsets, stagehands adjusted lights with trembling hands, and Michael Strahan, usually calm and composed, stood by his desk reviewing notes one last time. This wasn't going to be an ordinary interview. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, had agreed to appear live to promote his new charitable initiative focused on veterans' mental health. But insiders knew that the real reason everyone was tuned in had little to do with charity. It was the controversy surrounding his explosive remarks about the royal family from a recent podcast appearance. When Harry finally walked onto the set, dressed casually in a navy suit without a tie, the studio fell silent. He smiled politely, shook Strahan's hand, and sat down. The red light flashed. They were live. "Good morning, Prince Harry," Strahan began, his voice steady but cool. "It's been quite a year for you. New projects, new headlines, and, of course, new controversies." Harry gave a faint smile. "Good morning, Michael. Yes, it's been a busy one." At first, the conversation stayed polite. Harry talked about his foundation, his family life with Meghan and the children, and the challenges of balancing public service with privacy. But Strahan wasn't here to discuss gardening or charity events. Viewers wanted answers, and Strahan knew his job. "Harry," Strahan leaned forward slightly, "you said recently that you no longer recognize the institution you were born into. Do you stand by that statement?" Harry paused. "I said that because I believe change is necessary. My family's done incredible things for the country, but you've also accused them of neglect and emotional distance," Strahan interrupted. "Don't you think comments like that hurt the very people you claim to love?" The air went cold. Harry's polite tone hardened. "Michael, with respect, you haven't lived my life. You haven't been through what I've been through." Strahan raised an eyebrow. "I haven't, but I know what it's like to have family disagreements in public. The difference is, most people don't get paid millions to talk about them." The audience gasped quietly. Meghan, watching from backstage, shifted uneasily. The control room buzzed with alarm. The producers motioned to cut to commercial, but Strahan waved them off. He wanted this moment. Harry's jaw tightened. "You're implying I do this for money. My wife and I stepped back to protect our family, not to exploit it." "I'm just asking," Strahan replied smoothly, "why you keep doing interviews about a life you say you want to move on from. Doesn't that seem contradictory?" For a few seconds, Harry said nothing. His face flushed, and he took a deep breath. "You know what's contradictory, Michael? Being criticized for trying to use my voice for good. I'm speaking up for people who feel trapped, silenced, and overlooked." "That's admirable," Strahan said, "but do you think constantly attacking your family achieves that?" That was the breaking point. Harry's composure cracked. "I'm not attacking them. I'm telling the truth. And if telling the truth makes people uncomfortable, maybe they need to look in the mirror instead of pointing fingers." Strahan leaned back, sensing the storm. "So your father, your brother, they're the problem." Harry's eyes darkened. "I didn't say that. But you seem more interested in gossip than in the cause I came here to talk about." The tension became unbearable. Even the cameras seemed to hesitate. Producers frantically gestured for Strahan to change the subject, but he continued pressing. "Harry, people feel you've turned your personal struggles into a brand. Netflix deals, memoirs, interviews. Is this really about helping others, or keeping your name in the headlines?" Harry slammed his hand lightly on the table. "That's enough. I came here in good faith. If you're going to twist everything into tabloid drama, I don't see the point of continuing." The studio fell silent. Strahan froze. The control room finally cut to a commercial break, but the damage was done. Harry stood up, removed his microphone, and looked directly at Strahan. "You know, Michael," he said quietly, "you talk about integrity every morning on this show. Maybe you should try practicing it." With that, Prince Harry walked off the set. The segment never resumed. Viewers at home saw an abrupt cut to a coffee commercial, but social media exploded within minutes. #Prince Harry and #Good Morning America trended worldwide. Clips leaked showing part of the confrontation, and within hours, every news outlet from London to Los Angeles was running the story. Prince Harry storms off GMA set after heated argument with Michael Strahan. Backstage, Meghan looked furious. She whispered something to Harry as he exited through the side door, cameras flashing outside. Producers argued over who had approved the line of questioning, while Strahan sat at the desk in silence, staring down at his notes. Later that day, ABC released a short statement. Greater than, Prince Harry's scheduled interview was cut short due to unforeseen circumstances. We remain supportive of his charitable work and thank him for his time. But behind the scenes, everyone knew it wasn't unforeseen. It was live television, raw, unscripted, and brutally human. And as Harry and Meghan's car disappeared into Manhattan traffic, one thing was certain: whatever message he had hoped to share that morning had been buried under a fresh wave of royal controversy, and this time, he might not get the last word. The morning after the infamous Good Morning America incident, headlines dominated every major outlet. Prince Harry walks off live TV, royal temper flare up in New York, and Michael Strahan left speechless after on-air clash, were plastered across screens worldwide. In Montecito, the silence in Harry and Meghan's home was heavy. Meghan sat by the kitchen window, scrolling through her phone as Harry paced the living room. His face was tense, his hands buried in his pockets. "They twisted everything," he muttered. "I went there to talk about veterans and mental health. And all they care about is drama." Meghan sighed. "That's what they do, Harry. The media thrives on conflict. You've been around this your entire life, you know how it works." He stopped pacing and looked at her. "So I should just let them paint me as the villain again?" "No," she said softly, but walking off set didn't help. "They'll say you lost control." Harry clenched his jaw. "Maybe I did. But how many times do I have to sit there and take it?" Before Meghan could answer, his phone buzzed. It was his publicist, Rebecca. "Harry," she said over speaker, her tone urgent, "ABC wants to release the full unedited footage. They say it'll show context." Harry frowned. "Context? Or humiliation? They're under pressure," Rebecca continued. "Strahan's getting hate online too, people are divided. Some say he ambushed you, others think you overreacted. You could take this moment back if you respond wisely." Harry sat down. "What do you suggest?" "Do a statement. Calm, reflective, no anger. Show people the man you really are, not the one they saw on TV." Meghan nodded in agreement. "Let them see your heart, not your frustration." That afternoon, Harry recorded a short video from his home office. The tone was sincere. "Greater than, yesterday's interview didn't go as planned," he began. "When conversations about mental health turn into confrontation, it distracts from the real issue, helping those who need it most. I have great respect for journalists who listen, and for the veterans we're trying to support. I hope we can move forward with empathy and understanding." The video went viral within hours. Fans praised his composure, calling it a graceful recovery. Even some critics softened their tone. But inside ABC headquarters, tension remained. Michael Strahan hadn't spoken publicly yet. He'd spent most of the day in meetings with producers and PR teams, replaying the footage again and again. In every frame, he could see how quickly things spiraled, how his curiosity turned into confrontation. That evening, Strahan finally addressed the situation live on air. "Greater than, I want to say this," he began solemnly. "Interviews can get intense, especially when emotions are involved. I have great respect for Prince Harry and the work he's doing. I wish our conversation had gone differently." It was a diplomatic olive branch, and Harry accepted it privately, texting Strahan through Rebecca later that night, "Appreciate your words. Emotions got the best of both of us. No hard feelings." But the internet wasn't ready to move on. Clips of the confrontation were edited into memes, reaction videos, and commentary pieces. British tabloids used the story to reignite debates about Harry's character. In London, a royal commentator on Sky News sneered, he wanted freedom from the press, yet he runs to every microphone he can find. Meanwhile, Harry's charity team scrambled to repair the narrative. Donations had dipped slightly, and sponsors were uneasy. Meghan worked tirelessly behind the scenes, coordinating with PR firms and reaching out to trusted allies. 3 days later, an unexpected development changed everything. ABC released unseen footage from before the interview, showing Harry laughing with Strahan during soundcheck, joking about the lighting, and warmly greeting the staff. The contrast between those cheerful moments and the heated argument that followed stunned viewers. It humanized him. Social media erupted again, but this time, sympathy poured in. One viral tweet read, Greater than, you can see the switch in his eyes. He was calm until he got cornered. Everyone deserves compassion. By the end of the week, public opinion had begun to shift. Harry's charity website saw a surge in visits, and veterans he'd worked with publicly defended him. One former soldier tweeted, "Greater than, he's one of us. He's walked the walk. Let the man speak his truth." Feeling the momentum, Harry agreed to a follow-up appearance, not on Good Morning America, but on a smaller digital platform dedicated to mental health awareness. This time, there were no bright lights, no tabloids watching, no trap questions, just Harry, a cup of tea, and an honest conversation. "I lost my temper," he admitted during the interview. But maybe it needed to happen. Maybe people needed to see that even those who talk about healing still struggle. "I'm not perfect. None of us are." The interviewer nodded. "Do you regret walking off?" Harry paused, thoughtful. "I regret that it overshadowed the message. But I don't regret standing up for myself. There's a difference between silence and dignity." When that segment aired, it reached millions organically, no drama, no shouting, just truth. For the first time since the GMA fiasco, Harry's voice wasn't drowned out by headlines. That night, sitting on the porch beside Meghan, Harry exhaled deeply. The California sky was painted gold by the setting sun. "You handled it beautifully," Meghan said, resting her hand on his. He smiled faintly. "I'm learning, slowly. Maybe the world doesn't change overnight. But at least we're still trying." Meghan squeezed his hand. "And that's all that matters." In the distance, the waves crashed gently against the shore. For the first time in days, the noise around them felt far away. The world could debate, criticize, and dissect. But Harry had found something more powerful than all the headlines combined: peace.